Well, here we are, video 4, and I'm just going to start off with some basic questions like question 8 here. I think some people are overthinking it. When it says write out all the factors of negative 64 that result in a positive sum, here's a good example. Let me go back to my right color pen here. So factors that make 64 would be 1 times 64, okay? So that does give me 64, and it does result in a positive sum. But they are asking for negative 64. So factors that give me negative 64, for example, I could put negative 1 times 64. So that gives me factors of negative 64, and when I add them together, the sum of these two give me 63, so that's positive. So another example, so I've got 2 and 32. Together, they make 64, so I need to make one of them positive. If I did make it negative 32 times 2, that gets me negative 64. But I need to, if I were to add them together, negative 32 plus 2 does not give me a positive sum. All right, so I need to make sure and put the negative over here. So when it asks you to do that, I could do, that's 3, 4, 8 and 8 is another one, but I'd have to make one of them negative, right? So you keep going. Now, part B says we're still looking for negative 64, but we want a negative sum. And so, and you get rid of that negative sign over here. Now for part B, I would put the negative sign over here. Now this results in a 0, so 8, 8 actually does not give me a positive or negative. It gives me a sum of 0. And this one right here is your answer for C. So listing out the factors of negative 64 that result in 0, there should be only one, and that would be the square root of 64. Everything else, if I were to add them together, 1 and 64, or 2 and 32, and 4 and 16, those do not give me 0. So there's only one case where it's 0. Okay, moving on. Question 9. Write the equivalent expression by distributing. So there's two ways to look at this. Maybe I'll change this to blue. When I look at this, I've got first, outside, inside, last. The FOIL method, the method we've taught for decades in math class. So first, O-U-T. So the first terms would be 2x times x. So I get 2 times x squared. So first, meaning the first term of each parentheses, multiplied together, 2x times x is 2x squared. O for outside means my outside term of this parentheses to this means 2x times 9. I get plus 18, minus 18x. My I means inside, so now I take my inside two terms, 11 times x, so plus 11x. And last, L is meaning last, so the last term of each parentheses, 11 and negative 9, gives me minus 99. Now, in this, I can combine those two terms that are like terms. So really, my final answer should say 2x squared minus 7x minus 99. Okay, and that should be how you answer 9A, is go ahead and simplify it like that. I'm going to pause it, I'm going to erase this, and then show you the other way to go about doing this problem. All right, so the other way, and this is the quote-unquote new math way, and that is we draw ourselves a little tic-tac-toe board, and we take the terms of the first parentheses and write them out like this, 2x plus 11. And then over here in the column, the first column, we would write out the other parentheses, so x minus 9. Okay. Now, you go ahead and in this box, you multiply the two terms that make up like the same row, same column. So 2x and x is 2x squared over here in this box, we have 11 times x. We also have 2x times negative 9, so minus 18x. And then we have this box here is associated with 11 here, negative 9, negative 99. So what you do is then you take all 4 of your boxes. Each box is a term, and you'll see that they're the same as before. 2x squared plus 11x minus 18x minus 99. You'd resimplify it again, 2x squared minus 7x minus 99. So, okay, that's that one, 9b. Let me pause. I'm going to erase this also, and then I'll go to 9b real quick. All right, so 9b. The only thing that people get a little bit confused about maybe, so we're still trying to distribute this, and you can use either method, the FOIL method or that box method. But what some people might get confused by not is what method to use, but how to take one parentheses and apply it. So what I want to introduce is the idea that this is x minus 7 times x minus 7. That's another way of writing it. So x minus 7 squared, now we look at it like this. You know, you can do the first outside, inside, and then last, and you get x squared minus 14x plus 49. Okay, that's, again, what most people might be confused by. If anything, is just simply the fact that it's one parentheses. What do you do with it? Well, it's really 2 sets of parentheses. They just happen to have the same thing inside. So that's the only one we're going to get through here. No, sorry, we did 8. Okay, so 8 and 9 done. I'm going to pause and start up question 10 in the next video.